Welcome to Conversations, where style meets substance. I'm your host, Kimberly Miller. Today, we're talking about something many people struggle with silently: comparison. In a world full of copying trends, lifestyles, personalities, and even looks, God never asked you to become someone else. He created one version of you on purpose. Your voice, your story, your calling, your personality, and even your journey were all designed uniquely by God. You don't have to mimic what looks successful on somebody else. What God has already placed in your life works best when you walk in authenticity. Today, we're breaking the pressure to compare and embracing the power to become exactly who God created you to be. When you consistently study everyone else, you lose sight of who God called you to be. When you spend all your time watching everyone else, how they dress, how they lead, how they post, how they succeed, how they parent, or even how they build, eventually you become so focused on their assignment that you neglect your own. Comparison slowly pulls your eyes away from God's direction for your life and places them on someone else's path. And there's danger in that. The danger is that the imitation can cause an identity crisis. You start questioning your own voice because it doesn't sound like theirs. You start doubting your progress because your timeline looks different. You begin minimizing your gifts because they don't appear as visible as someone else's. But God never asked you to duplicate anyone else's calling. He asked you to steward your own faithfully. A lot of people are exhausted because they are trying to maintain a version of themselves God never created. They're borrowing personalities, copying styles, focusing on their platforms, and chasing appearances instead of developing their own authenticity. But what God blesses is obedience, not imitation. Even biblically, when people took their eyes off God's assignment for them and became so consumed with others, it led to insecurity, jealousy, fear, or disobedience. God gives different measures, different seasons, different gifts, and different journeys because every calling serves a different purpose. Examine your work, develop your gift, grow in your lane. Key word here, your. God never told a sunflower become a rose because both are beautiful because they were created for different purposes. And he's never instructed you to become someone else. Sometimes social media magnifies this struggle because we are constantly consumed with exaggerated versions of people's lives. You may compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel and think you're behind, you're insignificant, or inefficient. But what looks successful publicly may not even be what God assigned to you privately. The enemy loves comparison because if he can keep you distracted studying someone else's life, he can delay you from fully becoming who God called you to be. You cannot clearly hear God's voice from your life while constantly trying to echo someone else's. There is freedom in authenticity. There is peace in staying in your own lane, and there is power in realizing that your calling does not need to look like anyone else's to still be valuable, impactful, and anointed. Even in creation, no fingerprints are identical. God is intentional, very intentional about uniqueness. Did you know that mimicking someone else's assignment will make you miss your own? Trying to look like someone else, live like someone else, or even build like someone else can distract you from your own lane. I'm a witness to this next statement. People connect to what is genuine. God blesses who you truly are, not who you pretend to be. You do not need permission to be who God already called you to be. You don't have to compete with another woman, another man, another ministry, another creator, or even another voice. What God has for you is for you, and it does not require imitation. The moment you stop chasing someone else's identity, you make room to fully walk in your own. Thank you for joining me in another episode of Conversations. Remember, there's only one you. God didn't accidentally create you differently. Your uniqueness is not a flaw. It's evidence of intentional design. Stop shrinking, stop comparing, and stop mimicking what God never assigned to you. Walk boldly in who God called you to be. If this episode blessed you, share it with someone who may be struggling with comparison. Until next time, be authentic, be faithful, and be who God created you to be.